This is the coefficient of friction activity execution video. The execution of this is really pretty simple. You make sure you zero before you pull each time before you pull, and when you zero, I'm going to give you an up close, make sure this string is not tight. Okay? Sometimes you'll lose your zero, so to get the most accurate data every time before you pull it, zero it, and we already know how to zero our force probes. If you have a question, ask me and I'll show you real quick. So then I just walk up to it and I just pull on it. Now you want to pull nice and steady and slow, so it may take a little while before it starts moving. And then you need to pull long enough to get a long flat surface or until your LabQuest quits recording. I should have pointed out that before you start pulling, you need to make sure you hit the green button. I didn't show that. Then you put the next weight. That won't be the next weight, but that's how you do. Then you do it again and you zero. So before you start pulling, you hit the green button on the LabQuest, and then you start pulling. The normal is for 10 seconds, and then you'll get a picture that looks like this. So you want to pull long enough that you have a flat part here, okay, and that you have your peak right here. There are two parts to this graph that we're interested in. We're interested in this peak. This force at this peak is the static friction force. This is where we're sliding. We're only going to need to find the sliding friction force once, because as it's sliding, you can see it bounces around some, so the friction is changing, but we can get an average of that just by highlighting it. Okay? So we're going to do 3 trials. The first trial, this is all you get. The first trial, you just find the peak force. Then you put it back. Make sure you put your block at start the same spot every time, because there's a little difference in the friction at different places on your board or your table. So try to start it at the same spot each time. So I pull it again, and I find this peak. I find the max again. Then I do it the third time. I find this one. Then on the third time, I also do the following. I'm also going to highlight the flat part here. Now you notice this is kind of irritating. When you highlight the flat part, the force is already going to be clicked. You have to click it and then analyze again. You have to do it twice. You have to unclick the force. When you click on the force, it turns off. Then you have to go analyze statistics again and re-click it. I'm not sure why they do that, but they do. So then I highlight this. I go to statistics, get the force turned on, and this time I want the mean. I only have to find the mean once. So you find this part of the graph 3 times. You find this part of the graph once. And you put that data in. This is your F sub S for static. This is your F sub K for kinetic. So you find the F sub K once, and you'll have 3 places in your table for your 3 values of F sub S. And that's all the data you have to do, and then you just add the weight and continue on that process. And that's the data collection, the execution part of the lab.